See blood on the walls, holes in the walls from heads, elbows, shoulders, whatever been rammed into the walls. Things were happening that were beyond just arresting someone.
You suspected for a long time that there were these sorts of abuses taking place.
Absolutely.
For the bulk of his career, Rick Florey's beat as a Queensland police officer was here on the Gold Coast.
So when did you first start serving around here?
1989.
Yeah, right.
It was a long time ago.
But it wasn't the seedy underbelly of criminal activity, nor the drug trade, nor the nightclub violence that would make him question the tough frontline job. What shocked him was the culture within the Queensland Police Service, and how the force responded when he wanted to do something about it.
How did your family react when you were raided?
They were devastated. It was shocking. I had a 13-year-old daughter, you know. She suffered significantly from that day for a period of time and they had to get some help for it.
You feel strongly about it still?
Well, she didn't need to suffer. She was an innocent child.
That raid in 2012 on Sergeant Florey's home followed the leak of this footage from inside the Surfers Paradise police station to a newspaper. An unarmed, compliant suspect, hands cuffed behind his back, savagely beaten by members of the Queensland Police Service.
Irrespective of not hearing the audio, the visual actions there are more than sufficient to say this is just dead wrong. So at this stage he's perspiring, he's got blood in his eyes, he's disoriented because he's been beaten. It's devastating to him, and I can tell you now that he is still a broken man. So it's not what just happened on that hour or two on that night. He still suffers from it, and probably will for the rest of his life.
Charged with public nuisance and obstructing police, the victim was 21-year-old Noah Begich, a young father who'd been taken quietly into custody just around the corner from the station. Now, when the story broke, it wasn't the brutality authorities focused on. Instead, they went after the person who'd leaked the footage.
Someone had to do something.
So what did you do?
I made arrangements for it to be exposed to the media.
That decision to release the footage and the raid on his home that followed saw Rick Florey charged with misconduct. He was suspended from the force and spent the next 5 years fighting a legal case to clear his name. And Renee Eves was by his side for every court hearing.
I look at what Rick did and it's beyond courageous. He said, this is not going to happen on my watch.
Renee Eves was an understanding ally of Rick's because in 2006, at the height of her career as an international bikini model, she'd been falsely arrested for driving while disqualified. Despite being pregnant, she too was thrown in a holding cell.
I had the world at my feet. I was living the dream. I hadn't been in trouble with the law. I had no criminal history. I didn't know what the law was. I didn't know what my rights were. I knew it was wrong though.
Having no money, the single mum represented herself in court. She was found not guilty and then became the first person without a lawyer to successfully sue the state of Queensland for false imprisonment.
The injustice of it just absolutely crippled me emotionally, financially, physically, absolutely hit the floor. I got on the phone to Lifeline because that's how bad and how low things got for me.
But Renee's experience and courtroom smarts became crucial to Rick as he fought to have his name cleared. And in February of this year, a jury did exactly that.
Our view was always that the release of the footage was done for an honourable purpose in exposing what could potentially be regarded as systemic problems within the Queensland Police Service.
Chris Janke was part of Rick's legal team. He doesn't think his client's case will be the last of its nature.
To take those sort of risks, it's always invariably the case that a rule or a policy or even a law is broken. So I would anticipate further prosecutions in the future. It's what we do to protect those with the courage to speak out that's important.
I would absolutely encourage other people to speak up. When I talk about those thousands of supporters, I'm talking a lot of police that were supporting me.
I have loads of friends that are police officers. All of them are disgusted by this kind of thing because they go to work, they're putting their lives on the line and their good reputations are being tarnished by these kind of officers.
At the insistence of the Chief Police Commissioner, the charges against Noah Begic were dropped. He has since received a compensation settlement, and no charges have been brought against the officers involved. And the man who shone a light on the entire episode doesn't regret a thing.
You must have thought a lot about that decision over the years.
It didn't come lightly. It wasn't a 5-second thing. It was years of seeing it, years of trying to stop it, trying to help the service, help the community, help everyone. It just fell on deaf ears.
There are already police probably that hate you.
Oh, no doubt. Well, they nicknamed me Ricky Legs.
Right.
So.
You sound proud of that.
No, I am proud of it.
There will be more anger towards you because of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Does that bother you?
No, not really, because they're not people worth knowing. They can say what they like. They just see me as upsetting the apple cart. Well, I've exposed a few rotten apples. Deal with them.